Shall we all stand, please? Shall we all stand? You may be seated. Your Excellencies, distinguished gentlemen and ladies, for once I start with gentlemen, good morning and welcome. My name is Leti Tembo Longwe and I work at the Institute for Peace and Security Studies as Interim Director for the Africa Peace and Security Program. The last decades have seen China's rapid and extensive presence and influence in Africa. This has been seen and felt across all levels of the continent's sectors, including infrastructure, natural resources, investment, trade, peace and security, education, as well as strategic partnerships. From the made in China products that we all are aware of, I'm actually wearing them now, in the local markets, the engagement of Chinese firms in the construction of railroads, buildings, and mining, including the construction of the African Union for its 50th birthday anniversary, are a few of the imprints of China on the continent. Such a presence is only the beginning and is expected to grow. Today's forum, with a focus on youth perspectives, will help us review and unpack Africa-China cooperation to come up with some practical recommendations for future engagement. Shall we give the Chinese government a round of applause, please? With those few remarks, allow me to invite His Excellency Chuan Chuang, Ambassador, Embassy of the People's Republic of China, to give us the first opening remarks. You have the floor, Your Excellency.
Distinguished Mrs. Egeji Tasfaye, Minister of Women and Social Affairs. Distinguished Mr. Tasfaye Yilma, State Minister of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Distinguished Mr. Jonas Adaye, Commissioner of National Dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen friends, good morning. Salam no. I'm very delighted to join you. The theme of today's Youth Leaders Forum is Prospects of China-Africa Cooperation. Thus, I'm extremely happy to conduct exchange of views with so many youth leaders on our friendship and cooperation. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you the following observations. First, we must fully understand the Communist Party of China if we want to fully understand China today. The 20th National Congress of CPC was successfully concluded 1 week ago. General Secretary Xi Jinping indicated in his report that from now on, the central task of the CPC is to unite and lead the Chinese people of all ethnic groups in building a strong and modern socialist country in all aspects and advancing the second centenary goal to achieve the great rejuvenation of Chinese nation through a Chinese path to modernization. The historical achievements we scored in the last decade were fundamentally attributable to the fact that we have General Secretary Xi Jinping as core of the CPC Central Committee and of the whole CPC. and we have Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era as guidance. The long-term pursuit of CPC is to put people first with its base in the people, and its aim is to achieve development of the people, for the people and by the people. When the newly elected members of Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of CPC Central Committee met the press on the 23rd October, General Secretary Xi Jinping said that on the new journey, the CPC will continue to forge ahead by relying on the people and doing everything for the people, and that the CPC will continue to conduct self-reform and carry forward the common value of mankind. I'm more than confident that under the strong leadership of CPC, the new journey ahead to glory will be plain sailing. Second, China's development can't be achieved without cooperation with the world and vice versa. China's development is an opportunity for the world. China never seeks hegemony and expansion. The purpose and goal of China's foreign policy is crystal clear, and that is to safeguard world peace, promote common development, and push for a community of shared future for mankind. Currently, some forces in the world are going against the trend of times by upholding Cold War mentality and playing zero-sum game to stir group confrontation, interfere into the internal affairs of other countries, and practice hegemony, thus constituting the biggest threat to global order at such a critical juncture. The report of the 20th National Congress of the CPC indicated that one essential attribute of Chinese path to modernization is to build a community of shared future for mankind and create a new sort of human civilization, demonstrating China's commitment of steering global governance towards fairness and justice while achieving modernization. The Global Development Initiative and the Global Security Initiative put forward by President Xi Jinping provided Chinese wisdom and solutions to addressing various global problems. China and Ethiopia have been together safeguarding genuine multilateralism, opposing hegemony and power politics, and promoting common interests of developing countries. We firmly support each other on issues concerning sovereignty, territorial integrity, and dignity. Ethiopia participated into the extraordinary China-Africa Summit on Solidarity against COVID-19, the second United Nations Conference on Sustainable Transport, the CPC and World Political Parties Summit, the 8th Ministerial Conference of FACAC and the Contact Persons Meeting, high-level dialogue on global development, and ministerial meeting of the Global Friends of Development Initiative Group, making positive contributions to the success of all these events. This showcases the responsibility of Ethiopia as a big African country. China stands ready to cooperate with Ethiopia on regional and global affairs to make sure that our cooperation ranks top in China-Africa cooperation. Third, our great achievements have come from collective dedication and hard work. Currently, Ethiopia is at a crucial stage of development with a solid foundation for industrialization. The goals of 10-year development plan are clear, and the growth drivers are well established. The beacon of prosperity in Africa is shining brightly. Although Ethiopia still faces some risks and challenges, in its development process, but its huge development potential is unstoppable. As long as it has firm confidence and addresses difficulties head-on, Ethiopia will surely have an ever better future. I'm glad to see that 23 Ethiopia-China cooperation projects have been included in the 9 programs set out at the 8th Ministerial Conference of FOCAC. The number of projects and the scale of funding are among the highest in all African countries. Phase 2 of the Shiga project has become a new landmark in Addis, which won wide acclaim from the locals. China supports Ethiopia in independently exploring a development path suited to its national conditions. We should support each other in safeguarding its legitimate development interests and jointly achieve national recognition by injecting impetus into common development and prosperity. Fourth, young generation should shoulder their responsibility to the country and play a vanguard role in the quest for national recognition. In the congratulatory letter to the World Youth Development Forum last July, President Xi Jinping stressed that youth represents hope. Youth creates tomorrow. Youth people of our countries should advance. Prime Minister Abiy also pointed out that young Ethiopians should aspire to become the pillar of Ethiopia's development, stick to innovation, seek solutions to social challenges, and become beacons of hope for more Ethiopians. Ethiopia is a great country with an ancient civilization. In her history, numerous young talents have emerged who fought for national independence and recognition. As we know, former President Mulatu was diligent and studied hard in his youth in China. Haile Selassie, the emperor of long-distance running, won so many gold and silver medals in international competition in his youth. The active young Ethiopian students with scientific dream put forward questions to Chinese astronauts during the activity Taekwondo dialogue. Throughout history, countless young Ethiopians have been actively engaged in the Belt and Road Initiative, working hard on many major cooperation projects and contributing to local economic and social development. Now, several Chinese students are studying Amharic at Addis Ababa University. Through mutual learning, they can enhance mutual understanding, gain friendship, and grow together. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the report to the 20th National Congress of CPC put forward the Chinese path to modernization, which will absolutely bring more opportunities to the world. I would like to work with my Ethiopian colleagues and friends to redouble our efforts to build a bridge for the development of young people, deepen cooperation in our fields, and contribute to the great recognition and glory of our two ancient civilizations. Last but not least, I wish the forum a complete success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Shall we give him another round of applause, please? Now it is my honor also to call upon Her Excellency Dr. Gogi Tesfaye, Minister of Women and Social Affairs of Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
እንደምን አረፈዳችሁ? Ni hao. Good morning. Your Excellency Ambassador Tesfaye Yilma, State Minister of Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Your Excellency Ambassador Zhao Jiowan, I think I pronounced it well. Thank you. Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, Dr. Jonas Sadai, Director of IPSS, and distinguished guests, distinguished youth, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a great pleasure and an honor for me to be here amongst you to convey the keynote speech in this event organized under the theme Prospects of China-Africa Cooperation Ethiopian Youth Leaders Forum. Excuse me. The Ministry of Women and Social Affairs expresses its appreciation for the organizers for organizing this timely youth forum, which aims at strengthening the Ethio-China bilateral as well as the African-China multilateral relations in the area of youth capacity building. At this stage, I sincerely would like to congratulate the Chinese people and the government of China for successfully accomplishing the Congress of the Chinese Communist Party. On behalf of the Ministry of Women and Social Affairs of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, and on my own behalf, I would like to extend my congratulations and the best wishes to the Chinese President, His Excellency Xi Jinping, for his re-election. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the people of Ethiopia and China have a common historical patriotism to defend their sovereignty from intrusion of foreign powers. The contemporary global situation demands cooperation and solidarity to fight against invasion and injustice interference from any other countries. Therefore, the historical resemble and existing ties between the two countries and people, as well as with the African nation, are foundations for mitigation of the current intrusions coming from different corners of the world. The African-China cooperation and diplomatic relations are overwhelming, growing, as manifested by socio-economic and political partnership amongst us. The African Union Conference Center and office complex built by the Chinese people and the government of China is one of the indications of our partnership and strong relationship. Africans and Chinese are also working in partnership to alleviate the global socio-economic and political threats. The growing partnership is positively contributing in the favor of green economy, global governance system, solidarity, and etc. Through trust building towards the mutual growth and development of the two countries and nations. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Africa is a continent with the youngest population, which demonstrates the economic potential of Africa. In addition to the human capital, there is a huge unexploited natural resources and indigenous knowledge. However, the continent endowed with such huge potential is still suffering from poverty. Thus, it's not too late for us to question ourselves. Why are we still persistently remaining poor? The poverty we encountered is also multidimensional including economic, social, and lack of political system which can respond to the African diversity. What will be the way out to emancipate the continent from these multifaceted challenges is a significant question that we need to answer. The human capital we have is predominantly unskilled and technologically unequipped. In the absence of technology and financial capacity, we cannot get rid of poverty from our continent. The continent is expected to pay its attention to the development of technology and innovation. The tool for progress of technology and innovation is education and training. The young human capital in Africa, therefore, should be equipped with problem-solving quality education. We all agree that the developed countries are striving at greatest in generating the new technologies to exploit the nature for uplifting their living standard. But in our case, let alone the creation of new technology, most of the sub-Saharan African countries are unable to properly use and or apply the developed technologies in service and manufacturing firms. It's clear that the developmental differences between developing and developed countries are therefore due to the differences of the technology capacity of the countries. To emancipate the African continent from deep-rooted poverty, therefore, capacity building of the African youth is unquestionable. The implementation of the regional and global agendas such as AU Agenda 2063 and SDG 2030, respectively, are considerably dependent on technological capability and knowledge, and the knowledge of the youth labor force as well. In this regard, therefore, the strategic partnership established between Africa and China is indisputably beneficiary to all of us. The Forum on China-Africa Cooperation is therefore an excellent approach to resolve the deficiency of the capacity of the African nation, specifically the African youth. The availability of youth labor force can serve as the main driving force for the Chinese investors and entrepreneurs as well. Chinese science and technology capacity, on the other hand, magnificent the potential of China to engage and build the Ethiopian youth capacity. Symbolically benefiting resources of the two countries and the continent can excel their cooperation and contribution in socio-economic transformation of their people. Thus, the two countries are anticipated to exploit the existing opportunities to boost their growth and development through transforming of agrarian economy to industrial one. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to share the experience of Ethiopia to our partners. To mention some, the government of Ethiopia has launched a youth voluntary services to promote sustainable peace and security, reconciliation, inclusion, social cohesion, and to inculcate youth patriotism as well. More than 19 million youth have participated in summer youth volunteerism activities for 3 months that will continue throughout the year. In addition, Ethiopian youth travel to East African countries to share their experiences in volunteerism so as to create solidarity and promote cultural exchanges in the region. Moreover, The measures taken by the government of Ethiopia in empowering women in politics and social and economic dimensions cannot be overlooked. Especially, Ethiopian Young Women Leaders Caucus is also established to increase their participation in all spheres. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, with the aforementioned key points that I have raised, Ethiopia and China need to cooperate in the following areas of common interests. Number one, the two countries are expected to establish youth-to-youth exchange programs to foster people-to-people relations, cultural exchange, and etc. Number two, so the internationalization program of education exchange of secondary and, let me repeat myself, through internationalization program of education, exchange of secondary and higher education students will promote and accelerate the science, technology, and innovation of the two countries, in which China is better off to contribute. Third, cooperation on the green legacy is another area of interest for the two countries, and contribution of volunteerism in this regard is immense. Fourth, the countries can also cooperate in technology incubation, promotion of digitalization, research and development, and etc., which obviously do engage young generation of the two countries. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to support and facilitate the youth development, Ethiopia has put in place different policies and legal and instrumental strategies like youth policy and strategy, education and training policy, health policy and strategy, and etc. The Ministry of Women and Social Affairs, as the government entity organ, is responsible for youth affairs. It's not only for youth affairs that we are responsible. We are responsible to ensure gender equality in the country, dealing with women issues. We are also dealing with children, youth, people with disability, elderly people, and the whole society exposed or at risk of social services. So that we just claim ourselves to be Ministry of the People. Hope the relationship between the Chinese government and the Ethiopian government, as well as the youth and the people, will enhance our partnership to this next level. Hence, I strongly believe that this platform will serve as a springboard to share our experiences and exchange cultural values and African indigenous knowledge and Chinese indigenous knowledge as well. The outcome of this platform, therefore, will contribute for policy dialogue and inputs as well as youth leadership development of the two nations. Finally, I would like to thank the Chinese government and the organizers of this event, and I'm very much delighted with addressing the keynote and I really would love to wish the distinguished delegates and youth participants and all other invited guests to have a fruitful deliberation and a pleasant stay here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Another big round of applause, please. The next speaker is His Excellency Yupong. He's the Director General of African Affairs, Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He's going to join us online. I think the technical team is busy uploading his video. Over to you.
Honorable Ms. Ergoji, Honorable State Minister Mr. Tasfaye, Dr. Jonas, colleagues and friends. It's my great pleasure to address today's seminar. First of all, please allow me to extend thanks to IPSS and the Chinese Embassy for hosting this event. As you know, the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China concluded successfully just a few days ago. The Congress elected the new central leadership of the Communist Party of China, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, and laid out major goals and tasks and guidelines for China and the CPC's development in the next period. Within the context, our discussion on the future of China-Africa cooperation is of the special significance. I'd like to take this opportunity to brief a little bit on the Congress and share with you some thoughts. First, the direction of China's future development is clearly defined. President Xi pointed out in his report to the Congress that the central task of the CPC will to lead the Chinese people of all ethnic groups in a concrete efforts to realize the second centenary goal of building China into a great modern socialist country in all respects, and to advance the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation on all fronts through a Chinese path to modernization. The report set out the blueprint and guiding principles of China's development in the next period to come, especially for the first time fully develop the content and the futures of Chinese modernization. I'd like to emphasize that modernization does not necessarily mean westernization, and westernization, on the other hand, does not necessarily lead to modernization. Instead, colonialism and hegemony that sometimes come along with westernization severely undermine the interests of the developing world. We firmly believe that developing countries should be more confident to blaze a new path suited to their national conditions toward modernization. Secondly, confidence in the world peace and development has been boosted. As the world is undergoing profound changes, hegemonism, unilateralism, and Cold War mentality are resurfacing. In this context, the Congress gave a clear response from China. China is committed to upholding world peace and promoting common development as purpose of its foreign policy. China is dedicated to promoting a human community with a shared future. China remains firm in pursuing an independent foreign policy of peace and promoting a new type of international relations. China is committed to its fundamental national policy of opening to the outside world and persists a mutually beneficial strategy of opening up. China adheres to the right course of economic globalization and upholds true multilateralism and promotes greater democracy in international relations. We will make great contribution to the betterment of the world. Thirdly, the China-Africa friendly cooperation gains even stronger momentum. China is a member of the developing countries, and China-Africa cooperation is always of top priority, reflecting at the past. No matter how the world changed, China and Africa countries always helped and support each other, and we have forged an unbreakable community with shared future. With a commitment to the greater good and shared interests, China will continue to uphold the principle of sincerity, real results, affinity, and good faith, endeavoring to strengthen solidarity and cooperation with developing countries and safeguard the common interests of the developing world. This has once again demonstrated China's firm political will to step up its brotherly partnership with African countries in the new era. Fourthly, China-Ethiopia cooperation faces new opportunities. China and Ethiopia are comprehensive strategic cooperation partners. The bilateral relationship is characterized with deep political trust and fruitful programmatic cooperation in all fields. We carried out all action plans of FOCAC and work closely on the outlook on peace and development in the Horn of Africa. Major projects such as Addis Ababa Djibouti Railway, African Leadership Demi of Excellence, Ethiopia Science Museum, and the Riverside Green Development are making contribution to the country's socio-economic development. We are ready to work more closely with our Ethiopian friends to push China-Ethiopia relationship yield more fruits. Dear friends, colleagues, the youth is the future of a nation. General Secretary Xi Jinping once said, "A nation will prosper only when its young people thrive." And the Prime Minister Abiy also emphasized the role of the youth in various occasions. We hope the young leaders today could take your responsibility and join the cause to build an even bright future for the China-Africa friendship. I wish the seminar a full success. Thank you.
Another round of applause. Thank you so much. Now, last but not least, I would like to invite His Excellency Ambassador Tesfaye Yoma, State Minister for Political and Economic Diplomacy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here in Ethiopia. You have, Your Excellency, the floor.
So, thank you very much indeed, Your Excellency, Dr. Ergoge Tesfaye, Minister of Women and Social Affairs, Your Excellency, Dr. Zhao Jiwan, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Ethiopia, Dr. Jonas Adai, Member of the National Dialogue Commission and Director of IPSS, distinguished participants, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have been invited to address this very important youth-focused forum. Let me express my appreciation to the Embassy of the People's Republic of China and the Institute for Peace and Security Studies of Addis Ababa University for jointly organizing this important gathering. On behalf of the Foreign Ministry of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, I wish to take this opportunity to express our warm congratulations to our Chinese friends on the successful conclusion of the 20th National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party. The 20th National Congress of the Chinese Communist Party is a historic milestone for the continuous peace and prosperity of the Chinese people. We have no doubt that the decisions of the Congress will positively contribute to national and global developments. The Ethiopian government is looking forward to working closely within the framework of the all-encompassing, comprehensive, strategic cooperative partnership which defines our relations in the bilateral and multilateral areas. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, China and Ethiopia have long-standing relations built on shared history and solid foundation. Our bilateral relationship is guided by the principles of mutual trust and respect, sovereignty and territorial integrity centered on a win-win approach. The relationship is not only limited to government, but also institution to institution, business to business, and people to people, as well as party to party. Today, China is Ethiopia's leading source of FDI and technology, as well as a major trading partner and source of finance for infrastructure projects. The relationship is critical to Ethiopia's strive to reduce poverty and in its journey towards prosperity. We express our gratitude and appreciation to China for accompanying Ethiopia in its national effort towards transformation. I have no doubt that we will continue to nurture this robust partnership in the years ahead. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the youth issue, which is the focus of this forum, holds central place in Africa's partnership with China. Africa's young population is its precious resource. Ethiopia's national 10-year development plan has given due attention to the potential of the youth. The development plan prioritizes youth participation in the country's development by providing access and creating favorable conditions for them to participate in activities and overall development of the countries. At the continental level, China-Africa partnership holds huge promise for the African youth. The two critical elements of skills development and job creation make up a significant part of this cooperation. Millions of jobs have been created for young Africans as a result of Chinese investment in infrastructure and energy. These investments empower the youth. When provided with appropriate skills and opportunities, younger generations become a positive force for development. In this regard, Chinese scholarships and training programs have been extremely crucial. Currently, a large number of African students are studying at different Chinese higher education institutions. Africa in general and Ethiopia in particular values this cooperation of investing in our young people. Another pleasant area of cooperation between China and Ethiopia is the flagship program on Amharic language at Beijing Foreign Studies University and Chinese language courses currently being taught at several Ethiopian universities, including Addis Ababa University. In this regard, I wish to record my appreciation to Addis Ababa University for its support and leadership in consolidating the partnership between AAU and BFSU in upgrading the Amharic language program to a degree level. The language programs are key to people-to-people engagements centered on the use between Ethiopia and China. The Amharic language professor and the 7 exchange students currently studying at Addis Ababa University represent a symbol of this partnership. I wish to take this opportunity to commend all those who have made efforts nurturing both language programs, both in Ethiopia and China. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion, let me inform this distinguished audience that we will be hosting the first African Prospective Leaders Summit under the theme Integrated Africa at the bridge of Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed, scheduled to be held in the premises of the African Union Commission from 29 to 31st October 2022. That's over this coming weekend. The summit is expected to bring together over 200 participants, mainly African youth leaders. The summit will bring together former African heads of state and government, renowned Pan-African advocates, with the objective of inspiring the youth leaders to pick up the values and solidarity concepts of Pan-Africanism and adapt it for the 21st century. The event will be graced by the presence of His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Finally, let me reiterate Ethiopia's strong desire and commitment to work together with fellow African brothers and sisters to make the China-Africa partnership continue to deliver concrete win-win outcomes. We are confident that the next generation will build on our current success and make poverty in Africa a history of the past. China-Africa youth leaders represent the best prospect for China-Africa friendship. I wish this forum complete success and look forward to its positive outcome. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Another big round of applause, please. I just want to say thank you to all the speakers for their inspiring speeches, opening remarks, which sets the stage for our discussions later on. At this stage in time, we're going to take a break for 30 minutes for a group picture, but also for some coffee. I think our thoughts are dry. We've been waiting for a long time for coffee and tea. So Rubia, just lead us for the group picture, and then after that, you let us know where we need to go for coffee. Excellencies, please, if you may stand and come and join us. Some order. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
you.